Okay, let's shift gears from what generally makes a bullet deadly to the wild world of wheel guns. What's the absolute best revolver cartridge out there? Now, I'm not talking about those behemoths you see at SHOT Show that look like they were ripped off a tank and need a bipod to shoot. Nope, we're talking about the kind of everyday revolvers you might actually carry or keep handy in the nightstand. So, let's wrangle up some of the top contenders for defensive revolver rounds, sticking to the popular stuff the big names are cranking out. The .38 Special. Man, this round has been doing the heavy lifting in self-defense and cop holsters for longer than any of us have been drawing breath, and for good reason. It's got enough oomph to get the job done, but the recoil is usually pretty tame, meaning most folks can handle it without feeling like they just caught a Nolan Ryan fastball with their teeth. Pretty much every company that makes a double-action revolver cranks one out in .38 Special, and every ammo maker under the sun cooks up a load for it. Think it's a bit on the anemic side? If your revolver is rated for it, you can step up to the plus P loads for a little extra spice. Whether you're looking for a snub-nosed belly gun for concealed carry or a medium-frame wheel gun for the house, it's honestly hard to go wrong with a .38. If you're asking for my top pick in this category, especially for those short-barreled wonders, it's got to be the Speer Gold Dot Short Barrel Personal Protection .38 Special Plus P. That stuff is engineered right. Another solid choice is the Winchester Defender. It's also slinging a 130-grain jacketed hollow point in a Plus P package and has a heck of a reputation as a trusty backup gun load for police all over. It's a smart bullet design that performs consistently, and yeah, I'd trust my hide to it. The king of versatility, .357 Magnum. You can't talk defensive revolvers without tipping your hat to the .357 Magnum. It's arguably one of the most versatile defensive rounds on the planet. Now, in a lightweight, short-barreled gun, that Magnum label ain't no joke. It can be a real handful. Snappy as heck. In my big ol' all-steel Ruger Redhawk, the recoil from .357s is manageable, though I wouldn't want to shoot a whole afternoon of them. Put those same rounds in a super light alloy frame gun of the same size. Yeah, I think I'd take a pass. Thanks. My wrists aren't what they used to be. But that's the beauty of the .357 Magnum. You can find guns chambered for it in all sorts of barrel lengths and frame materials. With a little trigger time, most shooters can learn to handle at least the longer, heavier .357s. Now, I'm not a huge fan of the buy a .357 practice with .38s, but load .357s for serious business. School of thought. You should train with what you carry. But hey, I know tons of people do it, and the gun allows for that flexibility. It's this very versatility that makes the .357 such a stellar option. For ammo, Speer's 135-grain Gold Dot GDHP in .357 would be my go-to. Those things hold together like nobody's business when they hit something. Hornady also makes a 135-grain Flex Lock bullet in their critical duty line that should get the job done nicely. Go big or go home. The .44 Magnum. The .44 Magnum. Cooked up back in 1950 by the legendary Elmer Keith and later made famous by Clint Eastwood's Squint and that beautiful Smith & Wesson Model 29. It's a beast of a round, great for hunting and definitely capable in a self-defense role. But be warned, it kicks like an angry mule. Your gun choices are a bit more limited, but here's a neat trick you can shoot the milder, 44 special rounds in a .44 Magnum revolver, which opens up your options quite a bit. Though, if you can, it's usually better to just get the gun chambered in .44 Magnum for the ammo flexibility, even if it means the gun is a bit heavier than you might strictly need for .44 specials. The upside is that shooting .44 specials out of a big .44 Magnum feels like a pussycat. Ammo options for defense have grown over the years, with good stuff from Hornady, SIG, Speer, and others. There's zero doubt that a solid hit from a .44 Magnum is going to shut down a threat, and fast. The big but here is that recoil. For your average shooter, that round is ferocious, and it's going to send that barrel skyward. That means it takes longer to get back on target for a follow-up shot. So, with a .44 Magnum, you really don't want to miss, because it might give the bad guy too much time to return the favor. My pick for the best all-around revolver cartridge is... All right, drum roll please. What do I think is the best all-around revolver cartridge for your everyday wheel gun? You ready for this? It's the .45 ACP. Yep, you heard me. The .45 automatic Colt pistol in a revolver. Why? Its case capacity is just about perfect for its bullet weight and what it needs to do. No tiny powder charges rattling around in a giant case designed for black powder. It was the first revolver round to use speed loaders, aka those nifty half-moon clips and now full-moon clips too. It can be tack-driving accurate in the right gun. It's a dream for reloaders, super versatile. Plus, it even has a rim twin, the .45 auto rim, if you don't want to mess with clips. So, if you've got a .45 ACP revolver, you've got access to a staggering amount of factory ammo, plus whatever .45 auto rim loads are still kicking around. Quick tip though, those CCI .45 ACP shot shells. They usually say, do not fire in revolvers. Heed that warning, unless you're a black powder fanatic or just really, really nostalgic. The .45 ACP in a moon-clipped revolver is a sweet setup. The oddballs, 410 shotgun shells in a handgun. Now for something a little more controversial. 410 shotgun shells out of a revolver. Believe it or not, revolvers chambered in .410 have been around for over 30 years because they have rifled barrels. They tend to do their best work with shot shells at really close distances. Think contact range out to maybe 7 yards, depending on the ammo. For dispatching snakes and other pests up close with birdshot, they're tough to beat. I've also heard plenty of stories and read accounts of folks using buckshot loads from these handguns to successfully defend against human attackers. If you're looking at defensive loads for these .410 revolvers, like the Taurus Judge or Smith & Wesson Governor, Hornady's Critical Defense .410 is arguably one of the top dogs. It's designed to give you effective patterns that put all the projectiles on a human-sized target out to about 7 yards. What makes it tick? It's got a triple defense projectile stack, 2 .35 caliber round balls sitting underneath a non-jacketed FTX slug. This setup zips along at about 750 feet per second and offers some serious stopping power for what it is. Don't forget the classics. .45 Colt. Until fairly recently, the grand old .45 Colt was mostly hanging out with the cowboy action shooting crowd. Then the Taurus Judge hit the scene, a double-action revolver that could chamber both .45 Colt and .410 shot shells, and suddenly, this great old round got a new lease on life. Now you've got the Judge, the S&W Governor, the S&W Model 25, and the Ruger Red Hawk, all playing in the sandbox. These are generally bigger guns, and in them, the .45 Colt is a real pussycat to shoot, but still hits with the same authority it's had since the late 1800s. My personal favorite handload for it, Lee's 200-grain radiused flat-nose bullet over 6 grains of 231 powder. It ambles along at about 760 feet per second with barely a nudge of recoil. The little engine that could .22 long rifle. Not traditionally what you think of for self-defense, but the .22 long rifle has been gaining some fans because it's so easy to shoot with virtually no recoil. Does it have the stopping power of the bigger guys? Nope. But in a very close quarters situation with precise shot placement, it can be effective. Plus, .22 LR ammo is dirt cheap and everywhere, so you can practice till the cows come home without taking out a second mortgage. For an all-around reliable and affordable load, I like CCI Standard Velocity. The on-again, off-again .44 Special. The .44 Special. This round is like that old flame you keep running into. Every few years, everyone seems to rediscover it. Ammo pops up everywhere, and then, poof, it fades into the background again as folks move on to the next shiny thing. I've seen this happen a bunch of times. The technical hiccup with the .44 Special is a bit like the .38 Special's problem finding bullets that reliably expand and penetrate deep enough. Plus, there just aren't a lot of documented defensive shootings with this caliber, which makes it harder to get solid data. Right now, the .44 Special seems to be on again, and there are some decent loads out there. My old recommendation, based on talking to guys who hunt with it, is still a good one. The 200-grain Winchester Silvertip in a pretty small field of contenders. It's still a top pick, followed by the 200-grain Spear Gold Dot and the newer Hornady 165 grain critical defense.